Race 2, Kipco British Champions Day, this massive World Pool Day at Ascot this Saturday. Well, Race 2 is the fastest race and it's also the first of the Group 1s. It's the Champion Sprint and it's got a capacity field over 1,200 metres, certainly 20 declared runners. So we'll hope we're going to see them all stand their ground. Right, these are they. Anaf is there, Globetrotter. Art Power won this last year. Audience, who's tasted success at the top level already this year. Kinross, previous winner of this. Millstream, top level winner. Montasib, top level winner as well. Over the page, we'll find a few more. Vafortino, Bavatier, the French runner, Elise Datus, James's Delight, and down some of the fillies. Swing Along, Unequal Love, A Dream, Flora of Bermuda. We'll go back to Champions Day 2023. Kinross would have been more of an expectation, but Graham, it was Art Power's day.
Nick, John, the first rule about Spring Club is anything can happen in Spring Club. Art Power given a very cute ride, raced alone on the far side to halfway. Right of picture, Swing Along comes to call. Later in the piece, here comes the Tory and Kinross looking sure to swamp them all, but Art Power finds extra. The key stat for Art Power, John, that grey horse on the far side, 18 visits to the Group 1 Coconut Shy. This is the only number one.
Yes, he's been fourth in this race a couple of times as well. It was a phenomenal effort given the way the race was run here. They've come home slowly. He's blown the field apart and he still found a bit more. It was really a closer's race and he's won it from the front. It'd be difficult to completely rule out, but I have.
Me too.
OK. One of the also-rans that day was Millstream, who finished 8th. He has gone on, though, to taste fixture at the very top level this year, John.
He certainly has in the July Cup back in, July, funnily enough. And they went extremely hard in the early part of this race, so it has set up for those in behind, as you can see. Millstream, the white cap, the far side, has reeled them in. Interesting, he's got a slightly better draw on Saturday afternoon than he got in this race last year. I think there's going to be a pretty strong gallop here. I think he can be in the numbers, Millstream, because I think that he's going to get a similar race set up, Graham.
He's a Hong Kong possible. It's definitely been mentioned by Jane Chappell, Hynham Court, and he is a Group 1 horse. He proves it here. My slight negative, he's had a little break since a fairly plain effort at Deauville, and that sort of tempers my confidence, allied to the fact that he was only 8th in this race on soft ground last year.
Graham, let's have a look at some very recent Group 1 sprint form that is important in the context. Goodness me.
Hats off to the graphics department.
Hats off to the graphics department. They're all going to queue up and try and reverse form with Montasip. I say there's countless.
A couple of horses on the left I think might have been compromised by racing on the rail. They were the Carlberg pair of Swing Along and Spycatcher. But let's nose on the three key players. Montasib, Kind of Blue, Unequal Love. Montasib had been threatening to make a mark in a good race, and I missed him here. He was 25 to 1. Yeah. No fluke about it whatsoever. Battles on well to get the better of the lightly raced Kind of Love. Kind of Blue, with Unequal Love staying on strongly for third. It's very, very difficult to pick the bones out of this, John. Which one do you like?
I'm going to go with Montasib. He's got a good draw. Crucially, you need to be middle to low, historically speaking, in this race. Certainly in the last 9 of the last 10 runnings, that's where he needed to be. He's got stall 6. That pace setup, he got it there. He's going to get it again at Ascot on Saturday afternoon. I've actually gone for him on top.
Moved like a very good horse that day as well, Montasib. Now let's have a look at one of the sort of lesser-known types, certainly in the context of those that have shown their hand at Group 1 level. This is James's Delight, Ryan Moore to ride, Graham.
Nick, John, the first rule about Spring Club, anything can happen in Spring Club. That includes an upgraded handicapper making a mark. This is Ryan Moore, this is James's Delight, this is a hot handicap from a mark of, I think, 102, and it's soft ground. When he gets soft ground, he's a pretty dangerous horse, this. So he's gone on from here to run very solid races in France, winning a nice race and just behind Spycatcher last time. Ryan Moore, decent draw, soft ground. He's a big player, I think. And
he was last at the 3-pole in that race, and he's come through and passed them all, so that bodes well for Saturday.
OK, he was a handicap winner at the Newmarket Guineas meeting earlier this season on the World Pool. Let's have a look at Audience, who is not the easiest to assess in so many ways, because he's capable of that absolute bit of brilliance which puts him top rated in the race, John.
Yeah, he's definitely an enigma, of course. He won the Lockinge earlier on when he looked like he was a pacemaker, wasn't he, for Inspiral, and he just blew the race apart. Here, he was in the right part of the race. It was a funny old race. Those in behind misjudged the pace, really. An Audience was always going to be difficult to pass under these circumstances in the Lennox. I think he's very interesting over 6 furlongs from a low draw. He's a bit of a monkey, but he's very, very talented.
It's so unusual. This horse is in the top 5 in the world on Longines ratings. He's £7 clear on BHA figures for this race. He hasn't run over 1,200 metres for a couple of years now, but he ran to a mark in the 120s 2 starts back, and over here at the moment, he's still 20 to 1. Why don't people like him? Because he's a bit of an in-and-out customer.
Is it, as we do the 1, 2, 3, 4 for the first Group 1 of the day, and this is competitive, is it a case of whose turn is it today or not?
There's a definite element of that to all these big 1,200-metre races. Look at Ron Ascot, Cardem, blossomed again at a biggish price. Look at Haydock, Montaseb at 25 to 1. James's Delight is the one I've had my eye on all week. The fact that he's ridden by Ryan Moore means we're not going to get major odds in the World Pool, but I do think he has the skill set to run really well. So you can see the numbers there, but 15 on top. James's Delight, a very live contender on his first go against the big boys in Britain.
John.
Yeah, there are quite a few you can give a decent chance to, but I'm going to go with Montasib on top. That low draw, I think, is key. Gate 6, I think, is very advantageous for him. Audience, I think you've got to have him in. He's fascinating at 6 furlongs, given his run style. Kinross in there for third. Gate 18 is not ideal, but he won it from Gate 17 2 years ago. And Millstream in there for fourth. I think get a nice race setup and should go better than last year.
Right, in a race of questions, I'm going to go for the one that I think is going to be so solid, and that is Kinross, number 4, who won this 2 years ago, second last year. And hopefully the old boy has still got plenty of outs. He is my selection. Best of luck, whatever you're going for, in a wide open Group 1.